Hello dears, and welcome to my show. I'm your friendly neighborhood librarian, reading the stinkers and praising the masterpieces since 2012. Oh, and what a story I have for you today. Okay, so there are these two dark, tortured souls. They're both irrevocably and irredeemably damaged and damaging to each other, and they fall in love. A love bordering on an obsession, a dark, dangerous passion with dark, dangerous consequences. There is malice and cruelty and a spooky atmosphere that makes this generally realistic novel feel at times like a supernatural one. It's actually really clever. I am, of course, referring to the wonderful, ingenious, beloved Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Wuthering Heights is not what we're here to review today. Sorry, I got just a little carried away reading something that I much preferred to what I actually had prepared to review today. Yeah, but I am a librarian of my word, and so without further ado, let us dive right into the gray eyes, gray soul, gray tie, and general grayness of 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. It's safe to call 50 Shades of Grey a modern novel as it was released only last year and already has a movie deal. What's up with that, right? Well, the movie hasn't come out yet, and when it does, I may release a supplementary video expressing my thoughts on that hot mess, or piece of cinematic brilliance. But for now, let's just focus on the material at hand. And, okay, I think I should give a little backstory as to why I actually read these books. It wasn't the same experience I had with Twilight and the Hunger Games where I was responding to hype and raves. Actually, it was the opposite. I had heard a lot of harsh criticism directed at this book for, shoddy writing, weak plot, laughable situations, the list goes on, and like a train wreck, I had to see it for myself. So maybe because my expectations were so very low, I wasn't really disappointed in the book, and it was entertaining, for a while anyway. But what am I going on about? Okay, people who haven't read the book, get ready. Are you ready? Let's see if you can keep up with this insanely, intensely complex and intellectual plot. Ready? Here's the story. Main characters in 50 Shades of Grey are renamed Bella and Edward, only Edward's human, and into BDSM. Hot? The story is told from the point of view of Miss Anastasia Steele, a graduating college literature student. She is clumsy, awkward, and shy, and best friends with a girl named Kate Kavanaugh. Kate happens to be an assertive, slightly flirty, and more interesting in every way character than Anastasia. So to even things out, the story starts with Kate bedridden with the flu. But oh no! Kate, a writer on the school paper, is going to miss out on the chance of a lifetime. The chance to interview elusive, mysterious, handsome, charismatic, young, multi-billionaire CEO, Christian Grey. Anna, as Anastasia is often called, being the brave, selfless soul that she is, offers to perform the interview in Kate's place. She does so without doing any research prior and understandably flubs the interview. Seriously, it's a massive fail. You need to read it to believe it, folks. But her uncoordinated awkwardness has somehow caught Christian's eye, and he goes on a rather stalkerish quest to make her his. Except not in a siree vampire way, but in a sex slave sort of way. Uh-huh. And that is how our story begins. No. Before I get asked by some of you not in the know, no. I am not picking on 50 Shades as a cheap knockoff of Twilight as some sort of easy dig. It was literally fan fiction of Twilight. It was published on fanfiction.net under the title Masters of the Universe. E.L. James literally took the names and replaced them with different names and published it as original work. Now, I have nothing against that practice in principle. I think that the story was different enough from Twilight, even in its fanfiction stages, that it can pass as original work. I think the same thing can be said of a lot of alternate universe fanfiction, especially when the characters are different from their canon counterparts. In alternate universe fanfiction, you take characters from a certain continuity, say the Harry Potter series, and you plop them into a non-canon setting, like a non-magical school. And you just see where you go from there. I think a lot of the times this is a creative outlet and it is helping to foster a lot of, really original ideas. Besides, I don't think it's much different from an author taking inspiration from another author. I think Stephenie Meyer probably read a teenage romance vampire novel or two in her time, despite what she might say about a dream. Nonetheless, the similarities between Twilight and 50 Shades are there, but it is admirable at least that E.L. James makes no secret that she got a lot of inspiration from Stephenie Meyer. Now, a quick run through of the characters and their Twilight counterparts, since you might be curious. Edward Cullen is renamed, of course, Christian Grey. He is described as intense and predatory, traits you would associate with the bloodthirsty demon of the night, and he longs to hurt his love interest just as Edward had an undeniable thirst for Bella's blood. In both series, this causes some tension and tries to relieve the male of being impossibly sweet and lovey-dovey. Though they both adore their leading ladies, they are at the same time a danger due to destructive forces within their own bodies being beyond their control. Isabella Swan, or Bella, is now Anastasia Steele, or Anna. I see more Bella in Anna than I do Edward and Christian. Her main traits are her klutziness and naivete. All the men that she encounters want her, but she has no self-confidence whatsoever. I mean, not that male attention is an accurate gauge of a woman's self-worth, but it doesn't hurt. Am I right? Whatever. Anastasia is socially awkward to the point where she doesn't know how to work simple technology, like email, until Christian teaches her. Let me just remind you that she has just graduated college in 2011. And I'll give Bella credit, she knew how to Google vampire. Anyway, Anastasia also narrates the story in first person, fixates on Christian's good looks while being constantly self-deprecating, and wonders how she could be worthy of such a fine specimen of man. She even has some backstory in which she leaves her mother with her husband of a remarriage and goes to look after her dad for a while, cooking for him and doing housewifely things like that. Her narration is interesting, but we'll get to that. 50 Shades' Kate Kavanaugh, Anastasia's roommate, is a Rosalie Hale who is actually nice to Bella. Kate is a blonde bombshell, the life of every party, the type of girl who doesn't take no for an answer. In fact, Christian comments that although he rarely takes interviews, Kate was so persistent that he finally buckled under the pressure. Don't fret, Team Jacobers, as there is an equivalent to Jacob in this story. He is tan, but not because he's Native American. Instead, Anastasia's secondary love interest is her Hispanic friend, José. José is a year younger than Anastasia and interested in photography. He's a relatively normal kid who crushes on Anastasia, and even though Anastasia is aware of this and has made it abundantly clear that she doesn't reciprocate, he still remains a loyal, supportive friend. Too bad we see little to nothing of him because I thought he was a painfully underutilized character. I admit that it was refreshing to see this played out more like a straight love story, with complications, than the ever-pervasive love triangle, but José seemed like a wasted character. In the end, he amounted to a Spanish-spouting cliché and a plot device. These last few characters we see even less than José, which is saying something, so I have them listed together. In 50 Shades, Christian has 2 adopted siblings from 2 adoptive parents. Also, Kate has a brother. Okay, so Christian's father, Carrick, and mother, Grace, have similar personalities to Carlisle and Esme Cullen. They are compassionate, understanding, and wise. Grace is very sweet and maternal, and Carrick is cultured and professional. A twist, though. In 50 Shades, the mother, Grace, is the doctor. Gasp! Christian's brother is named Elliot. He has all of Emmett's warmth, boyish charm, and affection. Christian's sister is named Mia. She has Alice's hyperactivity and childishness down to a T. Kate's brother Ethan I know very little about, but then again I never got to know the reserved Jasper too well either, so that works out, I guess. 50 Shades of Grey is written in first person, which generally is an unpleasant reading experience for me personally because I am a third person girl all the way. Second person is just a hot mess that I will not touch with a 10-foot pole. But first person does provide ample opportunity to reveal sort of quirks in your main characters. Case in point, Anastasia Steele's subconscious and inner goddess. Oh, E.L. James, I am so sorry to be the one to tell you this, but I do not think subconscious means what you think it means. I mean, I am 99.999999999% certain that one cannot consciously recognize the thoughts of their subconscious. That's kind of where the sub part comes in. And okay, I don't really know what a subconscious would look like, but I doubt it's a harpy bespectacled schoolmarm lecturing you on your stupidity. That's called common sense, I believe. Anna also turns to her inner goddess, who is a cheerleader in her head and is just interested in sex. I wish I was making this up. This subplot or recurring theme was ludicrous, bizarre, and absurd, and honestly it just made me kind of laugh in a bewildered and uncomfortable sort of way. The story focuses on Christian and Anna, and only Christian and Anna. None of the other characters get as much screen time, including their friends and family. Now, to a certain extent, this is understandable. I mean, the main characters, after all, do deserve more of the spotlight, and not every story is an ensemble effort. In fact, few novels are, now that I think of it. You mainly see ensemble casts in television and film and in plays, but rarely in novels. I wonder why that is. In any case, a romance should rightly focus on the 2 main characters before anyone else, that is true, but it got to the point where it seemed like the whole world revolved around this romance. Many characters are introduced and even given good backstories, only to be shafted aside in favor of another Christian Anna bickering/sex scene. For example, Taylor, Christian's bodyguard, and as far as I know, a completely original character for this novel, with absolutely no immediate Twilight counterpart, is a man of few words. He is of unwavering politeness and unconditional loyalty to Christian. And it's hinted that there are, layers to him, brimming beneath the surface, that are hidden by his aloof nature. He could have been a really interesting character, just like José, but the author just didn't care enough about them. She started this tantalizing, really good development of the ensemble and then just sort of left it hanging. And they turned into half-baked ideas with so much potential. I feel like the story could have been bigger than it was, maybe examining how Christian and Anna's wanton, passionate love affair affected those around them. But the story tried to be big and epic in another way. A love story kind of way. And I don't mean hearts and flowers love, as Christian puts it. I mean real love, as in whips, chains, and canes. Glorious.